And let's bring in Nik Nanos, founder and chief data scientist at Nanos Research, to break down some of the numbers ahead of another big week in Canadian politics. Nik, thanks as always for joining us.
Good to see you, Roger.
Okay, I mean, all this, the meeting this week, it all centers on the war with the trade war with the Americans. How do Canadians feel about Americans? What's changed from March till now?
Well, not to get overly technical, it's gone from very bad to bad, maybe.
It's an improvement, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it is a bit of an improvement. You know, we ask Canadians feelings that they have towards Americans, and it ranged from pessimism, anger, disinterest, optimism, satisfaction. And about 58% of Canadians would use words like pessimism or anger to describe their feelings towards Americans. On the positive side of the ledger, about 17% would use words like optimism or satisfaction. And what that speaks to, Roger, is a situation where Canadians today are 3 times more likely to articulate negative feelings when they think of Americans compared to positive feelings. Now, what's the good news? If there is good news, whatever you think about this, is that negative sentiment today is around 58% or thereabouts. In the previous wave, it was like 72%, 7 out of every 10 Canadians. So the, why don't we say the negative feeling quotient, maybe we'll patent that. The negative feeling quotient is a little lower, but still pretty bad.
Well, hopefully things are cooling down because they're good neighbors in the end.
Well, yeah,
and
absolutely.
we're good neighbors, so let's get along.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Now, boycotting timeline for U.S. goods, what are we seeing with that?
Well, you know, the thing is there's only so many things that Canadians as individuals can do. One of the things they can do is avoid buying U.S. goods, avoid traveling to the U.S. And we asked Canadians how long these types of boycotts would last. And about 47% of Canadians said that the boycotts would last until Trump was done as president. 28% thought that it would end before. And about 16% thought that they would be permanent. So, you know, still about half of Canadians thinking as long as Trump is president, they will probably continue to boycott U.S. goods and boycott travel to the United States.
Yeah, that's not all that surprising. I can see that with people with wanting to head down there, and if you can avoid, it's great. If you can shop Canadian, it's a much better way to go. Absolutely,
and there are lots of alternatives, including Canada and other places other than the U.S.
Okay, we're going to talk politics. I know it's July. There's not much happening, but let's take a look at the ballot support.
Not much happening. You just reported, Roger, the Prime Minister and the Premier.
I realized as I said that, Nik, I'm like, okay, there's lots happening. But Parliament Hill is quiet. Parliament Hill is quiet right now.
And just proves I am listening to what you're saying, Roger. I'd just like to say that. You know, we ask Canadians, you know, who they would, you know, the ballot support, and you can see the Liberals still have a pretty healthy advantage, you know, about 45-34, Liberals with a double-digit lead over the Conservatives, NDP at 11 or thereabouts. But, you know, the thing is still a comfortable advantage for the Carney Liberals. Today, see what happens after Pierre Poilievre, assuming he wins the by-election, gets back in the House of Commons, and there's more scrutiny on the government, at least from the opposition. That could be a bit of a game changer. But right now, in the doldrums of summer, even though there's still a lot of stuff going on.
All right, let's talk about some of the issues. What are the top issues for Canadians right now?
Yeah, still jobs and Trump/the U.S. You know, the thing is, you know, we ask Canadians, jobs comes in at around 19% as their top issue of concern. Trump/U.S. issues at around 16. Trump and concern about the U.S. up 3 points in the last 4 weeks. Rounding out the list is healthcare, inflation, and housing. A few more people worried about housing than over the last couple of weeks. But, you know, it's still about the economy. It's still about Trump. It's still about trade right now for Canadians as they wait to see what will happen on the tariff and trade front.
All right, Nik, thank you as always, sir.
Take it easy.
Have a great day. Nik Nanos is the founder and chief data scientist at Nanos Research.